on. Family time on New Year's. Say hola. 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 Chrisean. What's up, yo? Oh, you doing my hair? Oh, thank you for the kisses, Papa. That was so nice.
I'll put the food up.
What you say?
I'll put the food.
He said he want a what?
He wants to put his rain boots on.
Oh, it's rain boots. You want your rain boots? Oh, you understand.
Tell me.
Period. W mama.
You're not gonna come with me, Chrisean?
Yeah.
Chrisean Rock. You're not gonna come with me?
Just when everyone thought the holidays were supposed to be about peace, forgiveness, and matching pajamas, this situation said, absolutely not. Because the moment Karlissa found out that Chrisean Rock and Baby Jr. were spending the holidays with LiAngelo Ball, the internet didn't just react, it combusted. This wasn't a cute family update. This wasn't a harmless holiday visit. This felt like a storyline nobody warned Karlissa about, and when she realized what was happening, the energy shifted instantly. Fans swear her reaction wasn't calm, wasn't quiet, and definitely wasn't filtered. It was the kind of response that makes people pause mid-scroll and whisper, "Oh, this is about to get ugly." Because let's be honest, this isn't just about Christmas plans. This is about boundaries, loyalty, and unspoken rules getting shattered in front of millions. Suddenly, a holiday photo turned into a cultural debate, group chats exploded, comment sections went feral, and people started asking the same question over and over again. How did LiAngelo Ball end up in the middle of this mess? If this were a movie, this would be the scene where the music cuts out and everyone turns slowly. And trust me, what happened next made the Kardashians look like they were celebrating the holidays in complete silence. Buckle up, because this drama didn't come with gift receipts. And nobody's returning it. This whole situation didn't start with an argument. It didn't even start with a reaction. It started with a visual. One of those innocent-looking holiday moments that people usually scroll past without thinking twice. Smiles, decorations, family vibes. And then suddenly, the internet noticed who was in the room, and everything snapped into place like a trap closing. Because when word got out that Chrisean Rock and Baby Jr. were spending the holidays with LiAngelo Ball, it wasn't received as a sweet seasonal update. It was received as a plot twist, the kind that makes people sit up straighter and say, "Wait, since WHEN?" And once that question hit the timeline, it didn't stop echoing. For months, the public narrative around Chrisean had been chaos, recovery, tension, distance, and unresolved drama. Nothing about new traditions or fresh starts. So, when this holiday setting surfaced, it felt jarring, not because people hate happiness, but because this happiness didn't come with context. And the internet hates missing context more than it hates spoilers. Then came the real spark. Karlissa. Because if there's one thing the internet knows for sure, it's that Karlissa does not do quiet reactions, she doesn't do neutral, and she definitely doesn't do no comment. So when fans realized she was reacting in real time to this holiday development, attention shifted immediately. The story stopped being about Chrisean and LiAngelo and became about what Karlissa was about to say. And according to people watching closely, her reaction wasn't subtle. It wasn't a gentle eyebrow raise. It wasn't a carefully worded response meant to keep the peace. It came off emotional, pointed, and loaded with history. The kind of reaction that says, "You didn't just hurt my feelings, you crossed the line." What made this situation extra volatile was the symbolism. Holidays are sacred territory in family drama. They're about tradition, access, and who gets included. So seeing Baby Jr. in a space that Karlissa didn't expect, or didn't approve of, felt personal. Not public drama personal, family boundary personal. Fans immediately started connecting dots. Was this about control? Was this about exclusion? Was this about Chrisean choosing a different support system during a sensitive time? Or was it something deeper, a quiet statement being made without words? Because let's be honest, Spending the holidays somewhere is a statement. The internet wasted no time choosing sides. Some praised Chrisean for creating a peaceful environment for her child. Others accused her of being provocative on purpose. And then there were people asking the uncomfortable question nobody wanted to answer out loud. Why did this feel intentional? That's where LiAngelo Ball's presence changed everything. Because this wasn't just a random friend's house. This wasn't an anonymous setting. This was someone with his own public profile, his own reputation, and his own spotlight, which meant the moment wasn't just private, it was visible. And visibility changes the rules. Suddenly, LiAngelo wasn't just a guest in the story. He was part of the conversation. People started speculating about motives, dynamics, and timelines that nobody had confirmed. Memes started flying. Jokes escalated. And what could have been a quiet holiday moment turned into headline fuel. Karlissa's reaction landed right in the middle of that chaos. From the outside, it looked like a mother reacting to feeling cut out. But online, nothing is ever just one thing. Viewers began dissecting her tone, her wording, and even what she didn't say. Was she angry at Chrisean, at the situation, at the optics? Or at the fact that this moment went public before anyone could prepare her for it? Because that's the part people underestimate. Finding out about family moments online hits different. What made part 1 of this saga so tense was how fast it escalated without anyone actually speaking directly to each other. No sit down, no clarification, just reactions layered on top of assumptions. And assumptions are dangerous when millions of people are watching. Karlissa's supporters argued she had every right to feel away. That a grandmother being surprised by holiday plans involving her grandchild isn't small. That emotions don't disappear just because the internet is watching. And on the other side, Chrisean's supporters argued that she doesn't owe anyone access, especially if she's prioritizing peace. That divide hardened almost instantly. And the scariest part, this wasn't even the argument yet. This was just the setup, the emotional positioning, the quiet resentment before the explosion. Because when family drama collides with public figures, nothing stays behind closed doors for long. By the end of this phase, one thing was clear. This wasn't about a holiday visit anymore. It was about boundaries, power, and who gets to decide what family looks like when cameras are always rolling. And once those questions are out in the open, they don't go away, they wait. They build, they turn into reactions, clapbacks, and moments that feel bigger than they should. The moment Karlissa's reaction started circulating, the energy shifted from curiosity to combustion. This wasn't a calm disagreement or a quiet family misunderstanding. This was the internet sensing blood in the water and circling fast. Because once a grandmother reacts publicly to a holiday situation involving a child, the rules change. People stop scrolling and start judging. At first, the reaction felt emotional, raw, protective, the kind of response that comes from feeling blindsided, not briefed. And that's what many viewers locked onto immediately, finding out about family plans. Through social media, it's different. It feels less like communication and more like exclusion with a Wi-Fi connection. That alone was enough to make a lot of people sympathize with Karlissa before they even finished reading the comments. But then the conversation mutated. Because the internet never lets a moment stay simple, suddenly Karlissa's reaction wasn't just a reaction anymore. It was framed as a statement, a boundary being drawn, or in some takes, a line being crossed. People began arguing overtone instead of intention. Was she expressing concern? Or was she throwing shade? Was it protective? Or was it possessive? And the second those questions popped up, the timeline split clean in half. One side painted Karlissa as a grandmother reacting from emotion, not malice. They argued that holidays are sensitive, symbolic, and deeply personal. That seeing your grandchild in a space you weren't prepared for can trigger feelings no PR team can soften. To them, this wasn't drama. It was pain wrapped in surprise. The other side wasn't buying it. They accused her of turning a private family moment into public pressure, of reacting in a way that fueled commentary instead of resolving anything. Quietly, and once that framing caught on, every word she said got magnified, every pause got interpreted, every sentence got analyzed like it was a legal document. And then there was Chrisean. Her silence during this phase didn't calm anything down. It did the opposite. People began projecting motivations onto her like it was a group sport. Some said she was intentionally choosing peace and refusing to engage. Others accused her of using silence as a shield, and a few claimed the holiday setting itself was the response, a visual statement louder than any caption could ever be. The presence of LiAngelo Ball kept pushing the story into stranger territory, because now this wasn't just a family dispute. It had crossover appeal. Sports fans, celebrity watchers, and gossip pages all collided in one chaotic comment section. People asked how he got involved, why he was there, what it meant. And when answers didn't come, speculation filled the gap aggressively. Memes exploded everywhere. Some were jokes about NBA Christmas specials nobody ordered. Others framed the situation like a soap opera crossover episode that broke the fourth wall. Humor became the coping mechanism, but it also poured gasoline on the fire, because jokes make drama travel faster, not softer. TikTok took the situation and stretched it into 1,000 narratives. Creators stitched Karlissa's reaction with holiday clips, emotional music, and captions like "Pov, you find out online." Others flipped the angle entirely, praising Chrisean for creating a calm environment and refusing to let conflict dictate her child's experience. Each video claimed clarity. None agreed. What escalated things was the lack of direct communication visible to the public. No joint statements, no unified message, just reactions echoing through the internet without context. And when people don't see resolution, they assume conflict is ongoing, even if it is, and single quotes T.comment sections became battlegrounds. Words like boundaries, control, and access got thrown around like legal terms, even though nobody involved had asked for a public trial. But that's how it works once a story goes viral. Intent stops mattering. Perception takes over. The debate shifted from what happened to what it represents. Some viewers argued this was about a mother choosing a healthier space. Others insisted it was about excluding family on purpose. Some claimed it was a power move. Others called it self-preservation. The truth probably sat somewhere in the middle, but the internet doesn't reward middle ground. Karlissa's reaction kept getting replayed, not because it changed, but because the audience did. As emotions rose, people started hearing things differently. What sounded hurt at first began to sound sharp to some. What sounded protective to others began to feel territorial. The same words, filtered through different biases, created completely different stories. And that's when public outrage reached its peak. People weren't just reacting anymore. They were demanding explanations from everyone. Why wasn't this discussed privately? Why was it online? Why was a child involved in public discourse at all? The outrage grew less focused and more moral, which is always a sign that a scandal has left the facts behind. By the end of this phase, the holiday itself was almost forgotten. What remained was tension, the kind that doesn't explode immediately, but lingers in every future interaction. The kind that turns ordinary moments into potential flashpoints, because once a family disagreement becomes a public spectacle, it doesn't just disappear after the decorations come down. It follows everyone into the new year. By the time the holiday lights started coming down, the tension was still very much plugged in. This wasn't the kind of drama that fades when the calendar flips. It was the slow burn type, the kind that changes how people move, what they say, and who they trust when cameras aren't pointed directly at them. And once family emotions mix with public opinion, nothing resets cleanly. Karlissa's reaction continued to echo, not because she kept speaking, but because the internet kept replaying it. Supporters stood firm, arguing that her feelings were valid and human. A grandmother reacting emotionally to an unexpected holiday situation involving her grandchild isn't scandal, it's instinct. To them, the outrage was overblown and the judgment felt cruel. They saw a woman reacting in real time, not calculating headlines. Critics, however, didn't soften. They argued that once a reaction goes public, intention stops mattering as much as impact, that expressing hurt online invited commentary whether it was meant to or not, and that in situations involving children, every public move carries extra weight. Those arguments didn't fade, they hardened. And once people lock into a moral stance online, they rarely let go. Chrisean's silence during this phase became its own narrative. Some interpreted it as maturity, choosing peace over public sparring. Others saw it as avoidance, and a few framed it as a strategic move, letting visuals speak louder than words. The problem with silence in a viral moment is that it doesn't stay neutral. It gets interpreted by whoever's loudest. The holiday setting itself became symbolic to some viewers. It represented a fresh start and a calmer environment for a child. To others, it symbolized exclusion and a boundary drawn without discussion. The same images told completely different stories depending on who was watching. And that split in interpretation kept the debate alive long after the moment passed. LiAngelo's presence quietly remained part of the conversation, even without any direct involvement. His name continued popping up in comment sections, memes, and think pieces, not because he said anything, but because visibility alone creates assumptions. That's the strange tax of public proximity. Being near a situation is enough to become part of it. What shifted behind the scenes was tone. Interactions that once felt casual reportedly grew careful. Conversations became more measured. Because once a family situation becomes public spectacle, everyone involved learns the same lesson. Nothing stays small. Every move is watched. Every reaction is archived. And that awareness changes behavior permanently. Fans noticed the shift too. Future posts felt different. Energy looked guarded. Smiles seemed more controlled. People couldn't always explain what felt off, but they felt it. And once audiences sense restraint, they start looking for meaning in it. Silence becomes suspicious. Calm becomes calculated. There's no winning once expectations are set. The broader conversation moved away from the holiday itself and toward a bigger question: who gets access and who decides? That debate struck a nerve because it hit on real-life dynamics people experience off-camera too: family boundaries, co-parenting tensions, grandparent roles, support systems. Suddenly, this wasn't just celebrity drama, it was relatable in an uncomfortable way. That relatability kept the story alive. People weren't just watching, they were projecting. They brought their own family experiences into the comments, defending or criticizing based on personal history. And when personal emotion fuels public discourse, logic doesn't stand a chance. As weeks passed, the outrage softened into something quieter, but more permanent: memory. The story stopped trending daily, but it didn't disappear. It became a reference point. A remember when waiting to resurface the next time tensions flared. That's how viral family drama really lasts. Not loudly, but persistently. For Karlissa, the moment reshaped how people viewed her reactions going forward. Some gave her more grace, understanding the emotional context. Others watched more critically, waiting to see how she'd respond next time. Once someone becomes associated with public reactions, everything they do gets filtered through that lens. For Chrisean, the moment reinforced how closely her personal life is monitored. Every choice, even ones made quietly, can become a headline. If the internet decides it matters, growth, distance, and peace don't stop speculation. They just change its tone. What this saga ultimately revealed was how fragile privacy is when public figures are involved. How quickly a holiday can turn into a headline. And how easily intention gets lost once millions of strangers start interpreting your family dynamics like a TV plot. There was no clear winner, no satisfying resolution, just lingering tension and The shared understanding that this situation changed how everyone involved would move going forward. The holidays ended, but the questions didn't. And that's why this story doesn't feel finished. It feels paused, like the kind of quiet that exists right before another reaction, another post, another moment that suddenly pulls everything back into the spotlight. Because when family, fam, and feelings collide online, nothing ever truly wraps up. And that's where we leave it. Not resolved, not healed, just quietly simmering under the surface. If you're thinking, yeah, this feels like one of those situations that's coming back later, trust me, you're not wrong. Family drama mixed with fame doesn't end when the holidays do. It just waits for the next moment to resurface louder. Now I want to hear your take. Was Karlissa justified in reacting emotionally to seeing her grandchild spend the holidays somewhere unexpected? Or did that reaction pour gasoline on a situation that should have stayed private? Did Chrisean choose peace for her child? Or did the optics make it impossible for this to stay calm? Drop your honest opinion in the comments. No safe answers, no fence sitting. This comment section is where the real conversations happen. If this breakdown had you locked in, smash that like button like it ruined Christmas dinner and never apologized. Hit subscribe like you already know the next headline is going to be even messier. And turn on notifications, because celebrity family drama doesn't send invitations, it just shows up unannounced. And we're always first to break it down. This channel doesn't tiptoe around feelings or sugarcoat chaos. We follow the story where it leads, call it what feels off, and say what most people only think. If you're tired of staged apologies, half-truths, and drama that magically disappears without answers, you're exactly where you need to be. Because let's be real, when family, fam, and feelings collide, peace is temporary and tension always finds a microphone. Stay curious, stay loud, and remember, when celebrity worlds collide and the tea starts spilling, Celeb Sync is where everything connects.